Hey, I'm Harry Mays, and in the most drama-filled Week 18 I can remember since they went to the 17-game schedule, the Eagles had the second seed within their grasp after the Bears lose at home to the Lions, but they allowed a 39-year-old journeyman quarterback to put up 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter to lose.
I'm Jason Myrtetus. I'll keep it much shorter. That was a stupid decision by Nick Sirianni.
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's the Eagles Squad. Everything Philadelphia Eagles every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the city of brotherly love. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Eagles Squad show starting now.
All right, Eagles Squad Show. Today's episode brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Yeah, you said it, Harry. The Eagles lost, and they could have been the number 2 seed. I am so befuddled. Like, I don't know if I should be angry or just be happy I'm not a fan of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, they actually moved up to the 6th spot in the draft because
Cleveland
won a game today. But, Dan Quinn pulling his best Dan Campbell, let's go out and bite off some kneecaps in Week 18 and ruin our draft pick status.
Yeah, let me leave you with a gift out the door, a crappier draft pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Canned, right?
Oh, man. I'll tell you. But you just saw, this week, I know there was a bunch of players, like rotational players and some starters that played on that defensive side. And I know Devontae Smith played a little until he got the 1,000 yards, and then they took him. I might have thought about putting him back in the game in that fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
Seriously, after Calcaterra got banged up, you're down to your third string tight end. And I know, he tried to make a play late with him, and it didn't happen. Well, Devontae Smith would have gone back. I guess he's a little cold. Maybe you try to warm him up a little bit and then throw him in there, man. My God.
Go back to the room with the space heater.
Yeah.
It's like a jet engine space heaters they have.
Yeah, of course.
Go back there. Do some calisthenics, a little stretching.
Yeah. I almost got shoved into one when I was doing sidelines. I know exactly what you're talking about with those heaters.
They burn hot.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And the thing is, reason why I'm pissed off, and Louie DiBiase joins us from Locked On Eagles too. I'm going to get your initial thoughts. The thing that really angers me is the contradictions in belief from the head coach year to year. They didn't put Saquon in there to get a very prestigious record last year. It was all about winning, but they threw Devontae out there today to get it to 1,000 yards and probably
that's interesting.
A roster bonus.
Yeah,
and they got no starters out there ready to just get this game to a position of having it in control in case what happened did happen and Detroit beat Chicago. Now they got the harder path. It has a much higher chance of not going through the link, and you're dealing with this NFC West now, and you could have been dealing with the Packers, who suck, and now you got to deal with the 49ers. Now 49ers.
The 49ers are beat up.
They stunk too.
Yeah, they're beat up.
And Purdy's beat up. But
yeah.
let's go to Locked On Luigi right now. Louis, let's get your initial reaction to what just took place, because the game sucked.
I thought it was great. It was dramatic.
Yeah, but the way it played out, because you're watching the ticker and Detroit.
Yeah, I was watching 2 games at once. My head was spinning. It was awesome.
Yeah. And Kevin Harlan's calling that, and the streaker on the field at the same time. What's your initial reaction, Louis?
Yeah, I am disappointed that Nick Sirianni did rest starters. I said all week I think it could be a mistake, and it's not something I feel super strongly about. I get both sides of it. Resting starters is really important. The Eagles have the lowest amount of games missed this year from starters, with 23 combined, and that's crucial for a deep playoff run. But what is also crucial is having the playoffs, as you said, run through Lincoln Financial Field. Anytime the Eagles made it to or won a Super Bowl in the 21st century, the playoffs have run through Philly. And like you said, the difference between maybe hosting a division round game versus going to Soldier Field, if the Bears win in the first round in mid-January, I think that does matter too. I feel like they could have had their cake and eat it too, where they play starters in the first half and then let Tanner McKee, who wasn't great today, but let him close the game out, him and Tank Bigsby. So, you could go either way with this. I don't think the 49ers is a bad draw in round one.
No.
I'd much rather play them than the Rams. But
Agreed.
playing the Green Bay Packers, as you said, who are banged up and inconsistent, and having the 2 seed, when there's a really good chance somebody could upset the 1 seed in this playoff, I think that was significant. And I think Sirianni messed up here a little bit.
I do too. First of all, the offense hasn't played the second half all season. The starters,
Right,
they may have
that's a
been out
great
there.
They were out there, but yeah.
That does not mean they were playing.
Or the only time they played in the second half was if they didn't play in the first half.
Which was more
Right.
the case in the beginning of the year, right, Harry?
Yeah.
This is like, to me, why do you have to rest all of them? You saw the other side of that stat you brought up with the Eagles' man games lost. You saw that with the Commanders today.
Yeah.
They had the most man games lost. I think 82 or 84.
Yeah, they've been decimated. Yeah.
I mean, that in the NFL, that is a monster number in just a 17-game season. But I don't know why I asked Tim McManus this on Friday. He said, the Eagles are going to rest the starters. But I said, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? And we saw what it looked like today. It looked like crap.
Yeah.
It looked absolutely horrible.
Well, I mean, I know McKee didn't play as well as I thought he might play, but that second string offensive line is bad.
Yeah,
I mean, he had guys in his face the entire day.
I was fine with resting 2 guys on the offensive line. The guys that you got to determine who really needs it.
Yeah,
Because we still need
Juergens
the
and
game.
Dickerson, I would have
Bingo.
rested for sure. And Lane
Mailata
Johnson,
played a
is
half.
not playing. Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
Yeah.
Steen, these guys
Yeah.
would have all been in there. And
Well,
then
that's
on
the thing.
receiver, I'd have started both my wide receivers to start the game, and I would have started Hurts.
That's
Wow.
the thing
That's
is,
what I would've
it's
done.
not like you rested everybody. I mean, Nolan Smith played the entire game pretty much. So did Moro Ujoma and Jordan Davis. So
Jalen Hunt was
Hunt,
out
too.
there
He
making
basically
plays.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's like, why couldn't you go a little bit farther by playing your offensive starters for just one half? I'm not even saying play all 4 quarters. This was a
Get
one-score
comfortable.
game, and I feel like, having those starters for 2 quarters could have been the difference in a 7-point game. So, again, I feel like there was a middle ground here they could have had. And, again, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think there's even a good
No.
chance as the 3 seed that you could host multiple playoff games.
You could.
And I'm not scared of San Francisco at all. But the 2 seed and playing Green Bay, that was something I think they should have tried harder for. And again, they
It's the
just went a
cumulative
little bit too
effect
far.
of travel too. If you have to go on the road the second
Right.
round and the third round, there's your
Right.
cumulative effect.
And in a potential Super Bowl, like you only have one game in Philadelphia for a playoff run.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time that's had to happen throughout the history of the NFL in this century. I mean, when was the last time a wild card team or a team that's been a road warrior has gotten all the way and won Super Bowls? Like it happens, but there's a reason that 1 and 2 seeds normally win the championship, and home field advantage has a huge part of that.
Yeah, because it's earned.
Right.
It's part of the equation. And I thought that this was just, look, I don't know if it's going to be a mistake. Maybe this is the right path. You'll never know until it plays out. But this is you got to be mindful. They have technology today where these coaches and the guys up in the booth can be monitoring what was going on in Chicago to help make decisions.
Chicago was
and inform their
losing.
players.
They were down 2
killed,
scores.
60-0.
They needed 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, and then got an interception as Detroit was driving, and then still gave up the ball late and ended up kicking the field goal with time running out. But they made a furious comeback. But if you're Sirianni, you're sitting there thinking, man, we're up. They're up 13-0. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to just win this game.
Yeah.
And
Well,
let me
you
keep my
didn't
guy-
even have to win it.
Yeah, you got your guys in there and say Detroit's getting their rear end kicked in by Chicago. You go, okay, let's
you
pull
did
our
have to
guys
win.
out because it doesn't
My
mean
bad.
anything.
You did. Yeah,
but you got to
did have
monitor
win.
it, right?
Right. Yeah.
You got to be malleable here. You have the technology and the ability to be malleable in this situation. And he was as rigid as it gets. No, I'm not going to play my starters, except for Devontae Smith, who maybe needs a bonus.
Right, but that's the thing, though. As Chicago's making that comeback in the fourth quarter, their game was a few minutes ahead of the Eagles' game. You're like, hey, man, let's get Devontae warmed up. Let's get somebody else out there.
Because nothing's working.
Yeah.
And look, I love giving Devontae the opportunity to get 1,000
I do
yards.
too.
I think this guy is the most selfless player, maybe in franchise history, with his elite level of talent.
That's a good
and the
point.
production that he should have. I really think he deserves it. And he was having an all-pro season the first half of the year before they force-fed A.J. Brown down the stretch. So I love that he got to 1,000, but you're so right. So Nick Sirianni clearly was okay playing starters for different motivations.
Yeah, it's a contradiction.
Why did the 1,000 yards for Smitty matter to you more than the 2 seed in playing Green Bay? I don't know. There's just almost like an arrogance to it where it doesn't matter who we play this year. It doesn't matter if we have to go on the road. Like, we're the Philadelphia Eagles, but I don't think this year the Eagles have earned that. So I get, again.
That's last year's swagger.
Yeah, that's last year that team earned it. But and I totally understand, like, this is a double-sided coin. Grant Calcaterra gets that hip drop tackle. If that's Dallas Goedert and he's out for the playoffs, we look really stupid, right? So, again, it's a close, tough decision.
Should have been a penalty.
Yeah, I just think, you played Smitty for an entire quarter. You could have played everybody for one extra quarter, and you are probably talking about right now the Eagles hosting Green Bay next Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. To me, it could end up being the fatal mistake of this year where he's made several missteps throughout this season. Nick Sirianni has. Now, he's always been able to pull his team out of the misstep to some degree, with the exception of 23, where that thing was so far down the drain, you couldn't get the hook down there to pull it back up. But this could be one that, because this team is not last year's team and could have used every advantage it got. And today's one was handed to them on a silver platter. And
Unreal.
And he spit the bit.
Yeah.
He spit the bit. And he'll downplay it in his press conferences and give you coach speak, but it's concerning. And Tanner McKee, if he was starting this whole game to raise his stock, he didn't do it.
He didn't.
No,
he missed
he did
on
not.
that. The tight end Granson was open on that final fourth down. And I think McKee was very inaccurate today. He missed a couple guys high multiple times, especially in the second half, in the red zone too, when they could have took a lead and really took over this football game. So I said it on the show Friday, McKee was kind of showcasing his skills today as a potential starter in 2026. There are so many NFL teams next year that are going to need a new quarterback, or at least bring in competition for an unproven player. And I don't think this completely killed that chance for Tanner, but this was by far, I think, his worst start over the last couple of years.
Yeah, if you were really if you were really trying to showcase him, wouldn't you want some of the starters out there with him for at least a couple of quarters and see what the guy can do with real players?
I'm sure Howie Roseman would agree with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you wanted to try and get like the 36th pick, like Pittsburgh or somebody like their second round pick or something.
Yeah.
You maybe could have done it, but I don't know that that he's worth that value now. And
I also think he just showed off the lack of mobility too. And again, I think pocket passers are going to become more valuable as the years go on with how good defenses are right now with zone coverage and catching up to mobile quarterbacks in a way. But to see just how immobile he is, and I think he's not Tom Brady or a complete statue back there, but that was a clear limitation that if I was another team, I would see that and say, to me, there is a certain ceiling that's capped here with this player.
He needs a great offensive line.
He definitely does. And the Eagles are going to need to invest a pretty significant amount of resources in this offensive line, I think, this offseason and the draft, because when Lane Johnson's gone and with the way Cam Jurgens and Dickerson and Steen have looked this year, they definitely
Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But they need offensive line help this offseason for sure.
No doubt. To me, the key play, and this is the one that hurts Tanner McKee's stock the most, is 2nd and 1 when he forces that throw
instead of running it.
I'm like, Harry, there was as slow as Peyton Manning was.
He had 10 yards.
He could have got 7 or 8.
Yeah, he had 10. Could have gotten 10.
Yeah, 2015 Denver Broncos Peyton Manning would have got that.
Yeah,
exactly.
That guy was in it. That guy was out there with a walker at that point, right?
Exactly.
He could never run. Yeah. And that was an easy first down. Why he tries to force that pass in there, it was a good pass defense. But the only way you're throwing that ball is if that potential receiver is so wide open when you have the first down and you need to move the chains. Then it's 3rd and 1. They don't get it. They run it right up the gut. They run it on that heavy package to the left side.
Yeah.
I think with Bigsby, and they go nowhere, and they got a punt.
Well, and again, look at the 2 red zone drives in the first half when you come up with 0 points.
Came away with nothing.
Inside after the Jalen Hunt interception, and they drove down the field the previous drive. That's the difference with starters versus backups. If you have starters out there after the Jalen Hunt interception, the Eagles have been the best red zone offense in the league, albeit they don't get down there as much as pretty much any team in the NFL. But when they get down there, they're the best in football. Like if Dallas Goedert's in that game, Saquon, Jalen Hurts, they probably score a touchdown or at least get something there, a field goal where you can play with a lead in the second half. So again, I think that's just another example of why playing the starters in the first half matters, because the backups, they got 0 points in 2 key red zone trips, and that could have been the difference.
Yeah, that was huge. And how about all the pass interference penalties in the fourth quarter on the
cornerbacks
Eagles?
were terrible.
Jacorian Bennett all he does is grab. It's unreal.
He grabs. None of them turn their bodies.
No.
Completely off the Keavy Ringo train. What was he doing on that final touchdown?
I wasn't even going to bring up the name.
No, it's fair. I mean, that
made plays. He couldn't decide.
He made a couple nice ones.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But the final touchdown with Josh Johnson, where he's the only guy that can stop him, and he clearly should see that. He turns his body to help out in double coverage against a receiver.
Yeah,
that is the exact reason. That play is why Keavy Ringo did not pan out the way Howie Roseman thought he would, because he has all the talent in the world. But the football IQ
He's dumb.
is just,
He's a dumb football player.
To put it plainly, it's bad.
So is Latu. He's an idiot. 30,
he's had a couple
he
big-time mistakes in back-to-back weeks. Yeah, he was brutal.
You can see the guys that are overmatched, mentally for the game.
These are special teams players. It's the difference between a special teams ace and a starter.
Right.
Yeah, Ringo makes the great play on the
Ringo's a good
team.
gunner. He's a good gunner. Yeah.
He's a great gunner.
Yeah.
Not gun.
No.
But he's a good gunner.
He can run in a straight line. That's why he's great at gunning. But that's all he can do. I mean, don't ask him to do anything else.
Right. Don't ask him to think.
And Jacorian Bennett, again, I don't think that guy is even playable. Like you said, he grabs on every single play.
It's
really bad cornerback play.
Maybe it's because he's got such long arms. I don't know. But, man, he just can't stop grabbing people. It's unreal.
He never gets his body turned. It's just cornerback 101, and he's doing the opposite. That was bad tape.
Yeah.
When you put his tape side by side with a guy like Quinyon Mitchell, the difference is so pronounced.
Yeah,
because Mitchell's like so great at rotating his body and his hips and just staying blanketing a guy, stride for stride. And Jacorian Bennett ain't that.
Yeah, the stiffness in the two corners today was terrible.
I thought Ross Tucker, Harry, tried to bail out Tanner McKee on the interception at first, but when he came back from break and saw it again, he realized that Dotson and McKee was not a miscommunication. It was flat out a bad read. He thought he was going to bite on the tight end of the middle.
And it's funny. I'm glad you brought up Ross Tucker with Tanner McKee, because I wrote down 3 instances earlier in the game where it looked like he was basically being his marketing rep, where he literally said McKee. McKee always comes out. The ball always comes out on time with touch. That he said that in the first half, and then he goes that he really likes it under center, and that's a jab to me at Jalen Hurts, who doesn't play under center a great deal of time. And then on what was another one? Where maybe I didn't even write it down, but he was basically pumping him up, man. And I'm thinking he does the preseason games. He knows a lot of people in the organization. That had to be a thing. Like, hey, look, dude, pump him up.
Before the game, he knows he has this game on assignment. He's hitting his sources for contextual storylines. We all do it as broadcasters.
It's a great game for him to do with all the backups in there, because he sees them for 3 quarters in a preseason game.
Yeah, he doesn't observe the Eagles from afar. He's like day to day with the Eagles, right? He's day to day with a lot of teams, and those guys are, but he knows this team intimately better. And you could tell, like he had more intimate knowledge on this team than he certainly did the opponent, even who he played for.
Yep.
I'm sick to my stomach with the way this game played out. I shouldn't be in a week 8, because I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Commanders play, and they have the team's records up next to them. The Eagles are 11-5, and this during the game, and the Commanders have a whopping 4 wins after winning 12 last year. And they had all this hope, and I'm going. And then I see Carolina gets in, right? And first time since 2015.
Because Atlanta won.
Yeah, 11 years, right? And I'm sitting there going, like, how can I be annoyed at the way this game is going, knowing that there's another ride at the amusement park coming up next week?
Yeah.
These teams, it's the Commanders' offseason. Like, they're thinking about free agency and the draft tomorrow.
Well, I mean, today.
And who they're firing.
Today was like the Super Bowl for the Commanders and the Lions. They played hard, and they really wanted to win those games. I mean,
everything worked out. I mean, the Rams beat the Cardinals, which was huge, because I think that was and the Rams aren't terrifying. They're heading into the playoffs at 2-4, 2 straight losses to the Falcons, they almost lost the 3-3, I should say. But Arizona played them close, but the Rams win, so you don't have to play them in the first round. I still think that would have been the least ideal matchup. And yeah, the Lions take down Chicago, so like everything worked out perfect for you. It's not the nightmare scenario. You play San Fran in the first round. I'm not terrified of the 49ers, but it was
they got
there.
emasculated against the Seahawks at home.
They did. After such a great performance against the Bears the week before.
I really wanted Green Bay, though. I think the Eagles have their number. They've beaten them 3 times in the last 2 seasons. They're so banged up. And Jordan Love, you just can't trust that guy week in and week out. Not that Brock Purdy's a terrifying player, but Purdy's been heating up at the end of the year. So I feel like the second of 3 scenarios that could have played out, the second best option is what the reality is now.
Yeah.
But they're not playing the Rams.
It'd be hard to beat the Rams twice in the season.
Yes. Totally agree.
I think Purdy's cooked if Trent Williams can't play.
Yeah.
That's the thing. San Fran is so banged up. No Fred Warner, no Bosa.
Right.
They
And they don't get to the passer. They don't get any kind of pass rush.
Sacks this year. So Ricky Parasol is also hurt.
Right.
I mean, their receivers are injured. So, again, this isn't the 2023 or 2022 49ers that are coming into Philly.
But you would have known if Love was coming in with the Eagles' defense.
Right. No Michael Parsons. Josh Jacobs is banged up. I would have loved that Packers team.
Love's been on the shelf the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That would have been a rocking chair ride of a game. Like a great way to start to get feeling good to start off a playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take our first time out. I'm so disappointed in this game and what took place today. Yeah, it made Week 18 fascinating. But we're going to dig deeper on what Louie just said. Of the 3 scenarios, this is the second best scenario. We'll dig deeper on that and more. We'll come back after this on the Locked On Eagles Squad Show. All right, let me tell you about BetterHelp, and Louie's going to tell you about Prize Picks. Now, BetterHelp, this time of year, it's the new year. You want to start off your year right, and this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. The new year doesn't require a new you, maybe just a less burdened you. That'd be just a little easier or maybe a lot easier. We all carry things that weigh us down or hold us back, and therapy can help you identify what those things are by offering an unbiased perspective to better understand a lot of things, your relationships, motivations, and your emotions, how you react to things and what you do with those reactions. That's where BetterHelp comes in. They make it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist who can help you work through what's holding you back. Now, you may have obstacles in your life, whether they're financial or relationships, pressure at work. It's not an easy world that we live in these days. So if you have things that are weighing you down, some fears, some pressures, you don't have to be perfect, all of those things. BetterHelp therapists are fully licensed to help you out in the U.S., and they work according to a strict code of conduct. They do the matching work for you. All you do is take a short questionnaire that identifies your needs and preferences, and with over 12 years of experience, they typically get it right the first time. And if you're not happy with your match, you just don't feel the vibe with who they've paired you with, you can switch to a different therapist at any time. With over 30,000 therapists at an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on 1.7 million client reviews. It's quite a bit. BetterHelp has served over 5 million people globally, and it works. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. So sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's betterhelp.com/lockedon.
All right, guys, in today's episode of Locked On Eagles, the Squad Show is also presented by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or jumping into player projections for the first time, trying something new can feel like a challenge. But with Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure football matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never slows down, and Prize Picks let you stay in control. Prize Picks is the daily fantasy app that makes watching sports even more exciting by letting you build lineups based on player projections, no drafts, no waiting, just pick more or less and play your way. Getting started on Prize Picks, it's quick and simple. The app is super easy to navigate, and it's made watching games so much more engaging, especially when following individual player performances, which I love to do, especially in basketball. The new early payouts feature is a game changer. If a player starts hot, you can cash out before the game ends. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
All righty, we're back as the Eagles fall in Week 18, Game 17, Final score 24-17 at Lincoln Financial Field to the now 5-win Washington Commanders. Let's talk about the path to what could potentially be a return engagement in the Super Bowl. It obviously won't be against last year's opponent. They didn't make it. The Kansas City Chiefs.
I got some positivity when we're talking about the path.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
All right, so we know the game is going to be against San Francisco. Do we know when it is yet?
Not yet.
I do not. Now, interesting here, before we get to this, because Bam Man has now made 2 comments about the way things are looking. You guys look like you're recording this on your phone. I can only see Louie.
No, I double-checked. We're good.
Oh, okay.
It must be a mobile thing, but we're all set.
Okay.
Yeah, even on the vertical one, as I just put up on the screen, you can see all of us.
Okay.
Yeah, don't listen to Bam Man. He spams the freaking message board like a maniac. Like, slow down, dude. You're gonna type your tips of your fingers. He's like the old boss.
Yeah.
Firing away.
It's a 49ers fan that's already infiltrated the stream.
Is that right?
No,
I don't think he's on
He's an Eagle. He's an
Eagle fan. He's just an okay fan. He's like an okay, one of those guys.
We may have just lost a viewer calling him a Niners fan. That's on me. That's on me. I should be a company man. That's on me.
All right. All right, Harry. So the path.
Yeah.
Whether it starts Saturday or Sunday, we'll see against the 49ers, but you see this as a win. What's the path for week 2? What happens and how does it break down?
Okay. Well, the Chicago Bears are hosting a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers, a divisional opponent. And I know we think that if we had the Packers, this would be a rocket share ride in the second half, and maybe it would be. I don't know that it's going to be for the Chicago Bears, given that it's a division game. And this Bears team, with this head coach and this quarterback, have not been in the playoffs yet. This is it. They had a big spot for them today and blew it at home to another team in their division that wasn't even going to the playoffs. Okay, that was playing some lousy football down the stretch. Detroit, Goff looked as bad as he could be a few weeks ago in a game I saw. I mean, he looked like a deer in the headlights rookie. I forget which game it was. It might have been 2 weeks ago.
Eagles game.
But no, not that game. But my point is that game to me is losable for the Chicago Bears. Okay. The other situation you have here, obviously the Rams will go and take care of business, I believe, at Carolina. Okay, we all believe that. But if the Bears lost, Green Bay would be the last seed, and then Seattle would draw them if the Bears lost.
Yep.
The Eagles would then have to play the Rams in Philadelphia. Okay, I know it's not ideal because we don't like the Rams, and the Rams kind of, probably should have won earlier in the year. We got a couple of blocked field goals, and it was kind of a miracle win.
They played the Eagles closer than anybody.
They really do. Yeah, they really do. They got a great head coach and play caller. They got a veteran quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They got Nakua. They got some unbelievable players on both offense and defense. But let's take it the other way. Let's say the Bears do win against Green Bay. The Eagles would have to go to the Bears. I think the Eagles can win in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm not scared of that. I have an interesting question for you guys. When you were talking about the path, I was thinking of like the most ideal playoff path for the Eagles. Like, what would it be from round to round? Would you rather go to Chicago to play the Bears, or would you rather host the Rams? It's really interesting because like you would get home field advantage against LA, who you've beaten 3 times in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And playing in Chicago in those conditions are really tough, but I'd rather play in a vacuum the Bears with the way they play all these games close.
Yeah.
Then maybe play Matt Stafford. But I don't know. It's really tough. But
it is a toss-up.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to repeatedly beat the same team over and over.
I agree.
Again. I believe that. So that's like
I'd probably rather go to Chicago, I think. Yeah. Crazy enough. I don't know.
The other reason I don't mind going to Chicago versus hosting the Rams is this. I think you need, as a franchise and a player group that's on the ascension, clearly Chicago is that. You have to get a taste before you can have success there. That's them winning a round over a division opponent in Green Bay and then hosting a team that comes in that's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last couple of years, won it last year. There's a lot of pressure. Are they ready for that? Because that's when things get really serious outside Wild Card Weekend. Now it's a possibility of a trip to a conference championship and a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The pressure builds up on these players a lot. And you got to learn. You got to go through that a few times to learn how to deal with it in total, like as a team. Like I know Cooper DeJean came in last year, Quinyon Mitchell, and they went right to the Super Bowl and won.
Yeah.
And there's going to be rookies that do that.
But the offense had been there, right? They had been on a run.
Yeah. Like how long's Lane Johnson been around to go through all of those ups and downs, and guys like even Dallas Goedert.
Well, the entire offense,
everybody, and
then defense. Brandon Graham had been on those runs, and Jordan Davis and Nolan Smith. So a lot of them had already been on those runs. So I agree. It'd be very similar if Chicago got to the second round, Green Bay a couple of years ago when they beat Dallas in the first round. Like that was an awesome upset for the youngest team in football. Jordan Love's first playoff run. Like I could see Chicago getting to the second round, but even at home, like playing a team like the Eagles that have more playoff experience and proven ability than anybody would be really tough for the Bears, who already play teams and again, they're such a clutch football team. Caleb Williams is unbelievable in the fourth quarter of games, but the Eagles are normally great in the fourth quarter of games too, and they have the experience. So thinking about it more, obviously playing in Philadelphia in the playoffs is such an advantage. But Jason's right, like beating a team like the Rams 4 times in 2 seasons. I'm not saying it can't happen. I would probably right now, gun to my head, say the ideal path is beat the Niners, beat the Bears, and then at that point, I guess it doesn't matter.
Seattle?
Yeah, you hope Green Bay at that point would, or no. Who would be against Seattle in the second round in this scenario?
Carolina, right?
No, the Rams.
No, because the Rams won.
Or the Rams. That's right. Yeah,
so it'd be Eagles, Bears, let's say.
Eagles, Bears, and it would be Seattle and the Rams. The Rams would have to go to Seattle.
Yeah. And then give me the Rams in the NFC title.
They could win that game, and then the Eagles would get a home game.
Yeah, give me I don't want to go to Seattle in the NFC title. Give me LA on that.
Especially with the way that defense looked yesterday. My goodness, they fly around. Oh my goodness,
they're unbelievable on defense.
They really are good.
So would the Rams have to come to Philly for an NFC Championship game?
They would. Yeah.
Oh, they finished with the same record in the head-to-head.
Dude, they're a 5 seed. They're not going to have a home game.
That's right. They can't have a home game.
So that's the path to me.
Yeah.
In some way, we've been discrediting and kind of wondering about the Seattle team all year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're legit. I mean, 13 wins, they're legit. Unbelievable. I do feel better about it now because
they got 14 wins.
Or 14, they were 13-3 going into that game against San Francisco where they won 13-3. I'm trying to talk myself into this Bears thing. I go back to the game the Eagles played against them, but I don't think that matters that much. I think the Eagles walk in there, and I think a lot of them go, holy crap, that's that team again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like in the playoffs.
The Bears ran the ball they had 2 100-yard rushers against the Eagles. I cannot see that happening again. I mean,
we don't believe the Panthers could beat the Rams, by the way, in any scenario.
I don't.
Packers beat the Bears, let's say. Panthers beat the Rams. The Eagles would get Carolina at home in the second round.
They would.
That's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
I don't think Bryce Young is beating them, but
no, boy, he's got a rag arm, man. I'll tell you.
And he's so small. I mean, watching that game yesterday, I'm sorry. I can understand why undersized quarterbacks still you believe in some of their traits, but I'll never take a quarterback that is that size. No.
Ever since Harry deemed Baker Mayfield an MVP candidate, that team dropped off.
Which was like week 5 or something, and then he went.
I'm glad Tampa's not in the playoffs. I can't stand that team.
Yeah,
he just turned right back into Baker Mayfield.
He totally did. It's great.
Good.
Oh my goodness! Like
maybe I should start saying I believe in Cam Williams from Chicago. Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Cam Williams, by the way, had a good game for the Eagles today, though, at right tackle. I thought he was pretty solid.
Oh yeah. He wasn't that bad. Yeah.
We're going to take a timeout, and we're going to come back, and we're going to tackle this because this is really the crux of the matter. Eric the Red says, with this god-awful offensive play calling, it doesn't matter if we're the 2 seed or the 3 seed. With this OC, the defense is going to have to play 40 minutes. May not be wrong.
Yeah.
And other teams to 14 points. We'll tackle that when we come back as the Eagles fall in the final week of the regular season. There's teams in the postseason, in the offseason now. That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
To me. Like, your merry-go-round just stopped for the year. You got to wait till September or next fall.
Yeah. Tomorrow's Black Monday, one of my favorite holidays in the NFL calendar.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too because I want to know who's getting axed and who's going to hire Kevin Patullo as the next head coach in the NFL.
Yeah, maybe Kevin Patullo could get fired tomorrow and they put in Frank Reich. How about
or
that? Or
some head coach that gets zipped.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that and more here on the Locked On Eagles Squad Show. All righty. Let me tell you about Drip Drop. Oh, let me take you guys out of the equation here real quick, because you don't need to be here for this. Let me tell you about Drip Drop, because this Eagles squad show is brought to you by Drip Drop. Kicking off the year feeling good is a goal. It's everybody's goal, and honestly, hydration is a good way to do it. Now, Harry said he's having a dry January. We found out it's a damp January. And the way to stay on top of being hydrated and top of your energy and focus and mood, you can level them all up. But let's be real, plain water doesn't always cut it. It gets boring, especially when you're grinding through long days, hitting the gym, or just trying to stay consistent with your health goals. That's where Drip Drop comes in. Doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Think clear, focus better, have more energy, elevate your mood, even give you a little touch-up on your skin, makes it glow. You got to get Drip Drop into your daily routine. It's honestly a game changer, and it's not just for workouts. Just every day, you can be sipping on the Drip Drop. It uses precise ratio of electrolytes and glucose for rapid absorption, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading sports drinks, and it tastes great. You know, you can be obsessed with the 16 different original flavors. There's going to be a flavor for you. There's 8 zero sugar options to choose from. And Drip Drop's science-backed formula is trusted by firefighters, medical professionals. You know, they put in long days, and over 90% of top college and pro teams, because it rehydrates you faster and more effectively than water alone. And they have flexible subscription options as well, so you're never stuck without it. Whether you're hitting the gym, juggling work, or just staying consistent with your goals, Drip Drop is the hydration place you should be going to. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Just go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LockedOnNFL. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LockedOnNFL for 20% off. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use that promo code LockedOnNFL. All right.
Yeah, and you talk about the damp January. Thus far, it has not been damp. I am stone cold sober thus far through 4 days.
So you haven't even partaken in like a Michelob Ultra, Harry, or something?
No. I went out and got a case of non-alcoholic Labatt's Blue.
I was about to ask if you dipped into the NAs.
Well, I haven't yet, but I just went and got the case. It's in my garage, and I made a mocktail or 3 last night while I was watching the football games with club soda, a little ginger ale. I put in cranberry and a little bit of bitters, and I drank like 3 of those.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Did the guy at the beer distributor, when you bought a case of non-alc, did he faint, fall over?
Yeah, he didn't recognize me, so it was good. Yeah,
it's an outrage, Harry. He should be recognizing you. I know the guy at the state store does.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, all 6 of the people.
Order ready.
Yeah.
Standing order, pick up every Monday.
No, we're gonna make it.
That's on hold for now. I know your partner Ray Dunn. He folded like a cheap.
Yeah, he folded in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did 2 shots in 2 days.
Yeah.
A fireball, too.
Yeah. Washington, by the way, is now drafting 7th instead of 6th, thanks to their win. How about the Giants winning again? They're all the way down to 5.
The Cowboys had back-to-back losing seasons for the first time since 2002.
Yeah, but I mean, the Giants were battling it out with the Vegas Raiders for the number 1 seed a couple of weeks ago.
Now they're
5.
It's horrible.
Really?
Luckily, they don't need a quarterback.
I got to run upstairs real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, luckily they don't need a quarterback, though, because
right.
The Giants would have played their way out of that 2 years in a row. The NFC East, kind of brutal, but that's good for the Eagles.
And they got a pass rusher last year, so they probably won't take one this year because there's a lot of pass rush. By the time we get to the draft, Louie, you've seen this year after year, these teams will talk themselves into quarterbacks that probably have no business being drafted high.
And that's the thing that's why I thought this game for Tanner McKee, this class is not good. Outside of Mendoza, if the kid from Oregon goes back to school, I mean, I don't know who else is really a first-round prospect. Again, you're right. People will talk them. Jackson Dart wasn't seen as a first-round pick for a while, and then a team talks themselves into that kind of prospect. So that'll probably happen. But I thought McKee had a good opportunity today to raise that stock, and I don't know. I just can't see a team now. I could still see a team being interested in trading for him. I mean, the Browns traded for Kenny Pickett last year. So the Eagles have gotten compensation for a lot of players, but I don't think you're getting a second or even a conditional 3rd-round pick at this point.
You don't think you can get a 3rd? I mean, if you're Howie
maybe
Roseman,
like a conditional 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 2nd-round pick for Kevin Cobb and for A.J. Feely in the past, so that wasn't Howie, but they've gotten picks for worse players.
He doesn't have to give him up. If somebody's just offering a conditional 3rd, I don't know if I'd do it.
No, because
know?
I think having an elite backup QB2 is more valuable probably for a year than having a conditional day 3 or late day 2 pick. So it would really depend on the compensation still if I'm moving him. The other thing is, too, though, like they still have Sam Howell in this quarterback room. So if a team did call about McKee, I'm not like turning down any sort of offer that's not a second-round pick. So today didn't help that, but I don't think it ended any sort of trade talk in the offseason.
No, I don't either. And in fact, when he threw that interception near the goal line that Reeves picked off, I blame Cooper for that interception because they were at the 1 foot line when that idiot decided to spin the ball, in that guy's face. And that was what killed him.
Those personal, and look, I hate the rule in the NFL. I think you should be allowed to do that. I mean,
well, yeah,
but you got to know. I mean, Cooper knows even as a rookie that they're going to call that when you spin it right in his face. So yeah, there's just a lot of mistakes like that. That again, if starters are out there, and not like the Eagles' offense has been mistake-free this year, it's been the complete opposite. But I just feel like if you have starters in there in those situations, like when they get down inside the 20, inside the 10, that was the difference. So again. It did feel like there was a little bit of arrogance to the Eagles' approach today. And Jason, when you guys brought up the Devontae Smith thing with the 1,000 yards, like that's a really good point I didn't think of. Like, why were they okay with it in that scenario?
But not with Saquon.
Playing maybe the most consistent player on offense this year for an entire quarter. It wasn't like it was just one drive either. Right. He needed, I think over 35, 40 yards to get there. And they were okay with it in that scenario. So I'm very curious if Sirianni is questioning that or not. I'm sure in press conferences he'll double down on it, but behind closed doors, I'm curious what his mindset is right now.
Yeah, he doubles down on everything, which we know. But, Devontae finished with 4 targets, 3 receptions for 52 yards.
Yep.
And he had that one, the 27-yarder, which I think was the one that got him the 1,000 yards, right?
So he has now over 5,000 yards on 5 straight seasons, which means he's been on basically a 1,000-yard pace every year. He's gotten it 3 times. And for him to do that as a number 2 option in a very run-heavy attack is just so impressive to me. Again, I don't hate that they put Smitty out there. I think it's really cool. And I kind of love that he finishes the leading receiver for this team, even over A.J. Brown, because there's so many players, including A.J., that if he was having the first half of the season that he did, especially when he's had to take a back seat for years now, and then you kind of, I don't want to say they removed Devontae from the game plan the second half of the year, but like his reception total, his yard totals, even touchdowns went down in the name of getting AJ going, which I think was important. But Smitty had every right to put up a fuss like he has for years, and he just hasn't done it. So I am really glad he got to that 1,000 mark. People might not think like 60 yards makes a difference, but 1,000-yard seasons for receivers is massive for their legacies. Like it's really important. So I think
not for running backs anymore, but wide receivers. Yeah,
for receivers it is extremely important. So
what did he end up with? 5 touchdowns for the
4.
4. Okay. Yeah.
And did you see who one of the first guys was over there to congratulate him after Sirianni?
Was it AJ?
Put it up. It was AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Love that.
We hear I think we have this image of AJ Brown sometimes that we want him to fit perfectly into this mold of a diva receiver.
Yeah.
But the more I hear the guy talk, the more I see his actions, the videos I see him giving hot chocolates to little kids on the sidelines. Like, I don't want this to be his last season.
And I don't
really
either.
don't.
I think that second half of the season.
I agree with him more.
If they don't go on a Super Bowl run, one of the biggest positives, though, still you can take away from this season was the way I think they kind of repaired that relationship with AJ in the second half of the year. Because if they would have continued to not find ways to get him the ball, I think he's gone this year. I think he does demand a trade, whereas now I think the only way they trade him is if he says, I want out still, and I don't think he's going to do that. I mean, they're not going to send him.
Think he comes back? What do you think the chances?
I think there's
I think it's 75 he's gone.
I would say it's at least – I think they're keeping him unless he says, I'm not playing for this offense, this offense again. And I just can't see him doing that because they're not going to send him to the Bills. They're not going to send him to Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Like, okay, you want to go play in Minnesota and share receptions with Justin Jefferson because we're going to want somebody like Jordan Addison back. What are they going to offer?
Rumor. That was the rumor back.
Yeah, the Patriots are the ones that spread that rumor because they want him. Because Mike Vrabel wants him back.
I would too.
But I'm not trading A.J. Brown. I don't know. I think he proved in the second half of the year that he still is a top 5 receiver in football. And the minute he's gone, I just think your window, I don't think it slams shut. But this offense is so different with him compared to even if you get let's say they got a Jordan Addison back in a trade or a Jacoby Myers and you send him to Jacksonville and you get that kind of level of player back.
You're not going to get what you give, though.
No.
You're trading the best player in the deal.
Yeah, and I just think normally when an NFL team does that and the guy's not 35 years old, it hurts. That team loses the trade. And Howie Roseman normally does not do that kind of trade.
And it doesn't keep your window more open. It closes it more.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's still in a window with Jalen Hurts and that contract.
I like his commercial, too, actually.
Yeah, I do, too. Like, I just find myself agreeing with what he says.
I know.
And the grass isn't always greener, by the way. Like, yeah, I would understand why a receiver is frustrated in this offense that's so uncreative. It took them like 13 weeks of the year, 15 games to utilize him in a creative way. A.J. Brown specifically I'm talking about. But also, he's at 1,000 yards every single year. In the way, this team could have been like, get this guy out of here. We actually want to give him the ball less now for all the comments he's making and all the social media posts. And instead, they focused on getting him exclusively featured in the passing attack down the stretch.
They weren't great down the stretch.
But yet, and they still prioritize it. So if A.J. Brown turns around and says, I don't want to play for this offense, I don't know, man. I think it could be
the way
a lot
to
worse.
Get him back fully on board is to make the change at offensive coordinator.
They have to.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to do that regardless.
The question, I don't know that they do.
You don't?
I don't.
You don't know that they're.
Depends on what happens in this playoff run.
I think he is going to be back. I don't know if he's going to be called the offensive coordinator. I think the most likeliest scenario is that he becomes an assistant head coach and offensive coordinator quality control.
Well, I don't care if as long as he's not calling the plays.
So are you saying he's not calling plays anymore though?
Because they're not going to demote him because that's a sour grape situation. It's never good. He said fire the guy or give him a pseudo acceleration, move up the ladder. Number one. But he probably has aspirations of wanting to become a head coach, so he wants to be a play caller.
So let's say the offense continues to be inconsistent, right, in the playoffs. And let's say they even still find a way, though. Yeah, but let's say they still find a way to get to the second round, maybe the NFC title, but maybe not the Super Bowl. But the offense stays the way it is, right? I think in that scenario, Nick Sirianni still keeps Kevin Patullo. But it depends on who's making the decision. If Howie and Lurie say, like, we're going to take matters into our own hands here, I don't think he's the play caller next year. If they say, we've got to give Sirianni another chance, like, to get this right and to make the decision. Because they gave Doug 2 years, right? They gave him 2018 and 2019 to double down on his guys. And when it didn't work in 2020, they said, okay, we want you to add these guys, Marty Morningweg, those Shanahan assistants. Just too many cooks in the kitchen. I feel like they might give Sirianni 2 years to make his call. And then it's up to Nick. And if it's up to Nick, even if the offense is up and down in the postseason, I agree with Jason that Patullo probably is not gone from the organization.
I think Nick already knows. Like, he kind of threw him under the bus a couple of weeks.
I think they blame execution. I think the coaches genuinely believe if they didn't have all these penalties this year and if the offensive line was healthier, that this wouldn't be a problem. I don't think they blame
But aren't the penalties on the coaching staff?
Of course
we typically blame that on any other team.
Pre-snap.
It absolutely
a lot of them are.
Them getting to the line of scrimmage and getting snaps off slower than any team in football is on coaching.
Getting plays in late.
Because these are all the same players that over the past few years, these weren't issues. So what's the difference? It's coaching.
Where's the efficiency changed? You know,
coaching.
Yeah, you can look at the year before and go, hey, they had no problem with any of this stuff. It's not the players just not executing this year. It's indecisiveness in play calling and being very vanilla and predictable.
But if they come up short, I can see Jeffrey Lurie stepping in again. And
me too.
I think
Sirianni
I think
he should.
Something. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with an owner meddling like that. That's meddling for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Even in the playoffs, I would like some sort of change. They're not going to take Patullo's play calling away but I just do not trust him in the second half. No, they actually have, like, when it comes to first drive points in the league, they're top, I think, 3 actually. So Patullo in the first half of games, that hasn't really been an issue. They've had a lot of dominant first half games this year on offense. I don't trust him. Yeah. Look at the Buccaneers game. Look at the Broncos game. Look at the Bills game. It's happened all year. He is the worst second half play caller in football. So I would almost even like to see Sirianni or Leffler, somebody else take over. Kind of like when Andy Reid used to do this with Doug Peterson. Like, Doug was the 2-minute warning play caller. Give me something like that, because I just don't trust Patullo late in games.
Yeah, and for good reason. You know, you come out of we saw it last year, how good they were in the third quarter at salting games away and just stealing their opponents, you know, the adjustments they'd make. And then the opponent.
And they were
wouldn't get
bad
the ball.
early last year. They couldn't score touchdowns.
First quarter was
Yeah, it was
horrible.
the
last
opposite
year.
of what it is now.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what were some of the bright spots today? Obviously, Jalix Hunt making plays. How does he have
unbelievable.
3 interceptions?
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Has this ever happened where an Eagle has led the team in sacks and interceptions? Because he leads them with 3 picks, and he finished
He's got
the year
5
with
and a half, 6.5 sacks. Yeah.
Also, 24 quarterback hits, 2 forced fumbles, had a fumble recovery today.
The second
he
half
is
of his season is unreal.
He's
it's
been
the
really
same thing
good.
as what happened with Nolan Smith down the stretch last year.
Yeah.
Like, he's having that same stretch
Impact.
run year 2 breakout. And that's huge because with Jalen Phillips as a free agent this year, I wanted to see Hunt take that step to believe he could be a top 2 guy. And I think the second half of the year, he answered that. Not that I don't want
Absolutely.
Phillips back, but if they do lose Jalen to a $20+ million a year contract and it's Hunt and Smith again, like I trust Jalix to be a top 2 guy. He was unreal today.
Yeah.
I thought
How
this
about him
Jeremiah
being a
Trotter Jr.
defensive back at Cornell first?
You could tell
before-
with the way he
before
closed in on
went
that
to
pick today. Like, that was a
Houston
safety
Baptist
play.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was good today.
Yeah.
He's a starting.
made
The
plays,
Eagles
man.
have 4 starting level linebackers on this roster right now. Trotter
Yeah.
Jr. to me could be like your new version of TJ Edwards if he ever had to start. Like
Really good
not
on
an
special
elite
teams.
skill set,
Yeah.
but I think he could be really good, and he'll end up being probably your 3rd guy next year when Dean's gone.
Yeah.
He was calling the defense. It looked like to me too.
The blitzing was great. He blew up
Yeah.
that one run play on the goal
Yep.
line. Did the axe celebration.
Yep.
That was awesome to see.
In the red zone there. Yeah.
That was really cool.
Anthony
Oh,
must
the
be going
action man.
crazy. Yeah, tomahawk.
That was great.
How
Yeah, he
about
called-
Bigsby? Had over 100 yards of offense between passing.
He needs to
Pass
play more in
catching
the
and a running.
playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a knock on Saquon, but the way Tank like finds holes and is able to read defenses and
Runs
cut up
hard.
field, and
Yeah.
he always gets positive runs. They need to use him in the postseason more. Like I want them to use more gap man run concepts where they get Bigsby going downhill,
Yeah.
especially under center. I'm not saying bench Saquon or have it be 50-50, but I want Bigsby to play more in this postseason run.
Here's the thing. I think the time to get him in is when you're running your offense like in a no huddle,
Yeah.
and you start to tire a defense, and then you throw fresh legs in there with him.
Yeah.
I think that would be just a bear to deal with.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
those
It took so long
situations.
this year to start using him as a running back. I mean,
Yeah, and I don't need Shipley in there as a running back.
I-
either.
No, no.
Okay.
if I see one more 3rd and 9 draw
give
play
up
to
play
Shipley
to
up
him.
the middle,
Yeah, we saw it
Such a
last
waste of
week.
time.
we did
We did 3rd and
Such a
8,
waste.
I think, on their own 25, and they give it to Shipley. I'm
right
like,
up the middle.
Yep.
Yep. And he ain't getting it.
Nope.
Bigsby's unreal though. I think
Yeah.
that was a huge takeaway from today. Is that this guy should be getting more reps against San Fran,
Yeah.
He runs hard.
He does.
I
How many?
mean-
and he's a way better cutter than I thought. Like I didn't think he was this agile. I mean, he is not just this plotting one cut running back. I mean,
No, he's
that
not like
one on
AJ
that,
Dillon.
No, on that
Yeah.
one big reception he had on the check down, like he
Yeah.
turned that commander defender inside out.
Yeah, that was for 30 yards, 31 yards. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the question we're going to answer in our final segment is whether it's Bigsby, whether it's A.J. Brown in the postseason, whether it's the use of Jalen Hurts under center or shotgun and Saquon, all of it. Is it going to be utilized properly now? Because it's win or go home. That's what time of year it is. So we'll tackle that in our last segment. Last time out, it's the Locked On Eagles Squad Show. All righty, let me tell you about what are we talking about? Game time. That's right. Game time. Well, playoff game time. NFL seasons, it's been in full swing, and there's nothing like being at the game. How about being at a playoff game? The crowd noise, the energy, the cheering alongside other fans, it's like a religious experience. Whether you're watching at home, yeah, that's great, but being in the stadium has a whole different vibe to it. And the frustrating part has always been getting tickets, waiting on queues, dealing with logins, and watching prices change right at checkout. That'll drive you nuts. That's why the Game Time app gives you the advantage and it gives it back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing NFL tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Now, if you pull up the Game Time app, you can check out the upcoming games. There'll be one here in Philadelphia this week. We don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday. And you can find great ticket options instantly. And the app is incredibly intuitive. Browsing, comparing, and buying tickets, it takes just minutes. One of the great features is also being able to see the view from the seat that you're purchasing before you buy it, so there's no surprises when you get to the stadium. Now, the zone deals, they stand out. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save even more. Now, seeing NFL tickets available for around $100 makes it easy to plan a game day trip, and You really like that the fees are up front, so you don't get those surprises at checkouts. The price you see is exactly the price you pay, and knowing the tickets are backed by the Game Time guarantee gives you great peace of mind. So take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Real simple. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today and get back to being there live. Alrighty, final segment. The rubber meets the road. It's now a playoff week 1. Wild. I mean, what are we hoping for, Harry? Are we hoping for a Saturday or a Sunday game?
It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't.
So they're Fox.
I won't be drinking either
early
way.
or late.
I have no idea.
You know?
I mean, I don't want the late. I hate the late games.
Well, Saturday, what time would the late be? That's
Probably they'll probably
6:30?
start around 4:30 maybe for the early game, and then 8:30 or something.
7:30, 8:30 or something.
Yeah, they won't be in that first game. That first game is always like an AFC team. Usually the Texans have been in that window year after year after year.
Yeah.
That'll probably be like the Chargers and whoever they play.
Jaguars, Chargers. Probably
That's what that's probably
it's
the
always the
4:30
AFC
yeah.
South winner, which normally is
Jags still have a
Houston.
chance
So,
of
yeah.
the number 1 seed, though, don't they?
I don't think no.
No,
They don't
Denver
know.
won, I believe. So they're
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's out. Okay.
they're the 1. Yep.
And then,
So they're the 3 seed actually because the Patriots won 2. So the
Right.
Patriots are the 2 seed, Denver's the 1.
They've all won 14 games, but Jacksonville's the 3 seed. Yeah.
Correct.
the
Yep.
Eagles could end up with the late game, though, on Sunday.
That's what I'm predicting.
They could.
I think it's the Sunday night game.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, it's going to be Eagles. You got
See, now I wouldn't want that if I'm the Eagles because I'm
Two big
I'm
cities.
playing a West Coast team. I want to play early in the day
body
if I
clock.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to mess with that a little
You
bit.
know?
That's
But-
why I
Not gonna
also
get-
think it's Sunday night though because they're playing the Niners. I think the West Coast audience, Niners fans, they'll want
They're
that
going to put
game
them on
later.
at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they'll play that game later.
And they're 2 huge markets. I mean, you're talking about 2 of the top
Huge.
5
It's
markets.
the 2 most consistent teams. Them and the Rams have been the 3 most consistent teams in the NFC over the last decade.
Getting to
I
the
mean,
playoffs.
yeah, the 49ers and Eagles have been to like 5 of the last how many Super Bowls and NFC championships.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see like another chapter of this rivalry. And the 49ers, again, they're not the same team the Eagles saw in the NFC title in 2022 or that, tough 2023 game. But they're still a football team with a lot of interesting pieces, and they've been able to overcome a lot. So this is not going to be a pushover game whatsoever.
I tell you, that game last night with Seattle and San Francisco reminded me of back when like Richard Sherman and the Legion of Boom was playing for Seattle, and they'd go up
Against, like,
against Harbaugh's
Kaepernick and-
Niners. It was a slugfest.
Bowman
man.
and Willis. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a great rivalry.
Yeah. The one thing that I hate about the Eagles playing the 49ers is that we got to listen to these total whiner line.
The fans are going to
Niners,
hate coming back to Philadelphia.
and their sports talk show hosts, Louis, are the worst.
I've
Yeah.
seen them.
Well-
George Kittle even kept saying "Go Cardinals" in his press
I
conference.
know, I
'cause
saw that.
Even the players, I feel like, don't want
Yeah.
their wives coming back to Philadelphia. I love
Yeah.
it. I'm so glad they have to come back.
I can
here.
just imagine our old boss there, Jason. I mean, I don't want to go to Philly.
I got a lot of connections there. We can get guys on.
Right.
I mean, Sal Powell would be great.
I wonder what rule change the 49ers are going to complain about the NFL needing to create
Yeah.
this time if the Eagles win. It'll be
Oh, yeah,
interesting.
and God forbid if Brock Purdy doesn't make it to the second half,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
excuse book will be a mile
Well, they
long.
probably won't have to worry about the tush push. I think that's basically out of the repertoire.
Yeah.
Well, like from a matchup standpoint, Eagles offense versus the 49ers defense. Louis?
I think the Eagles' offense that if
got a
they're not
good-
going to get back on track running the football and the way they can protect Jalen in this game, I don't know. That's an indictment on
Yeah.
Kevin Patullo because the 49ers are dead last in sacks. They don't have their 2 best players on defense in this game. There is no excuse.
Warner and Bosa.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Warner and Bosa. Are
They had
out.
another linebacker get hurt last night that limped
Yeah.
off the field. I forget who it was.
The Bryce Huff revenge game, by the way, is also a fun
Oh, that's
storyline
right.
for this one.
Well, the
Yeah.
other thing about it is one thing we didn't talk about when we talk about the path. If you can have your first playoff game as the offense and be really good start to finish. I'm not asking them to be perfect or anything
Yeah.
like that, but be really good, consistent, and get off to a good. You put all the storylines in the regular season go to the rear view. They're now out of the equation
Yeah.
because this is a new season basically,
Right.
and you can change the narrative on this entire season And the fact that they have what looks like on paper an advantageous matchup offensively for the Eagles this week could be just what the doctor ordered for them to ride that along with this great defense. For Super Bowl.
Seattle rushed the ball for 180 yards last night against this beat-up Niners team, and they
Harry,
have a
look
pass
what happened.
rush. Yeah,
and they used 2 running backs. Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker had good
Charbonnet
games.
was good.
I really think they should use Bigsby in this game.
I agree.
I think he could be a key against the 40. And I'm not saying make it 50-50, but the way they use Walker and Charbonnet really hurt that 49ers defense.
Charbonnet was good.
25.
Yeah, stay
right?
Stay fresh. I think Tank could be a big part of this. I hope
25 or 30% Tank.
Yeah.
And you control the clock, too.
Yeah.
And keep your defense fresh.
Yeah. And the quarterback has to get back to running the ball a few times. This is nonsense.
Design.
If they want to have success shotgun running the football, they have to use Jalen more as a threat. Yeah.
That's something I feel confident in because I feel like he's going to got this thing too where he's like, I know it's the playoffs now. It's if we lose,
there's no holding back now.
Yeah.
Now you take the risk. Yeah. I think they'll the north-south design runs like the quarterback draws up the middle even.
Yeah.
You're going to see more of that. I mean, they're going to need to win the game.
I think he's calling for it in the meetings this week too.
I agree.
Like, guys,
he should
put me in a situation to get out there because it's gonna open everything up, and I think it's gonna be a huge week for Barkley too.
Yep.
Against this team, I am genuinely this season coming down the stretch has been a limp, but I am genuinely excited for this second season that starts. Like this is when it gets really fun. As a returning champion. A regular season's tough because you're not going to be measured on it.
Right.
You're going to be measured now.
That's why what you said is so right. Like nothing else matters. If they go on a deep run right now, nobody remembers if the Chiefs win that Super Bowl last year. Nobody remembers that they won every game in the regular season by 1 score and limped their way to the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter when you're a team this consistently good. Now they have a chance to become the D word, like a dynasty. I mean, if they could, and we're getting ahead of ourselves, but they have a chance to do something that only a few teams in the history of this league have been able to do. So I agree. The excitement level, even with the ups and downs of this year, I think should be at an all-time high because the path is there. It's wide open in this year's NFL.
Jake Elliott needs to bring it, too, because this Pinheiro is pretty good for the Niners.
Hey, better
He's
final 2
kicker.
games for Elliott, I'll say.
Yeah.
Didn't miss one the last 2 games. So
Thank God.
I still don't trust him fully, but maybe like last year, he's on the turnaround at the right time. We'll see.
I really loved seeing Sirianni fist pound today after his defense was on the field for 10 minutes, and the Commanders hit the upright and missed the field goal, and he's like,
he has that cornerback mentality.
I drew it up.
Yeah, it's like cornerbacks when they get burned for 50 yards and the quarterback overthrows.
Then he makes a play.
They still do the the celebrations. Yeah. That's Nick.
That's Sirianni.
I'm surprised he wasn't a corner. I'm surprised he was a receiver, not a corner growing up.
Yeah.
And that kicker today for them was a goober.
Awful.
Like he's played for 3 teams this year.
Oh, Moody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played at Michigan, too. He played for Randy Brown's son, was his kicking coach.
I remember Randy Brown. He's
a
special teams analyst. All right, make sure you keep it on Locked On Eagles all week. Louie's got you covered leading into the playoff game. We'll have a midweek squad show as well. And this is the time to lock in. Make sure you subscribe, Locked On Eagles, the squad show as well. We're going to have you totally covered across the Locked On network. So make sure you're checking it out all week. And we'll see what happens this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time on the Locked On Eagles Squad Show.